Okay, the fearful avoidant attachment style. That person wants to be close to people, but then when things get too close or things get too serious, when intimacy is on the horizon, then there's pushback. They may withdraw, they may shut down. So in general, the fearful avoidant says, come here, go away. Come here, go away. Come here, please, I miss you, I want you. Then they withdraw, shut down, freeze, and not show up. That's the avoidant piece. There are two types of avoidance that I'm going to talk about, the fearful avoidant and the dismissive avoidant. So this video is about the fearful avoidant. The fearful avoidant craves affection. They crave closeness. They do feel their feelings, and they want to be in some sort of relationship. They do feel lonely. So they will pursue a relationship and they will begin to connect with the person. However, then that only is going to go so far, because this is an avoidant. You can get to know some of me, says the fearful. You can get so close, says the fearful avoidant, but you're not going to get that close. There's only so much of me. I'm going to let you know, and then I'm going to put the wall up. So that's fearful avoidant in a nutshell. The person have trouble sustaining a healthy relationship. The person may be socially anxious. They may have some social anxiety. The person may struggle with depression as well. The person is in a hypervigilant state in that the fearful avoidant is always monitoring how they need to behave. The fearful avoidant craves affection. They do want some level of closeness. The fearful avoidant does not want to be alone. This person cannot accurately perceive or regulate their emotions. So what that means is they can't always put words to their emotions. They may feel one or two emotions, or even if they do feel their emotions, they can't calm themselves down. That's what regulate means. They can't self-soothe their emotions. Once they get upset, they're up here and they have trouble bringing themselves down. That's the fearful avoidant. The distance, they're an avoidant. They're fearful, they're emotional, but they're avoidant, which says you're only going to get so close to me. The fearful avoidant may experience social anxiety, nervous in social situations, or they may experience depression, or they may experience depression. The fearful avoidant really wants to be in a relationship, or they really want to be close to a person. But they don't notice that there's this fear of intimacy, there's this fear of closeness, until the closeness in the relationship increases. So in the early stages of a relationship, the fearful avoidant is pretty excited and pretty comfortable, excited, elated. But then when we get past that honeymoon stage, when the real person comes out, when the demands for intimacy surfaces, and we have to be open, honest, vulnerable, learn to resolve issues, learn to feel your feelings, take risks, trust. Trust is a big one. The fearful avoidant is nervous about trusting, very uncomfortable trusting, because the people that they needed to trust early on in their life were not there. They could not trust those people. The fearful avoidant feels secure. This is the avoidant piece. They're fine until their security is threatened. So the fearful avoidant security is threatened. For example, a fearful avoidant might have a person. I need this person to stay put. You stay put, you stay there. I'm not going to show up emotionally. I'm not going to be there for you emotionally, but I need you to stay there. I need you to stay put. I need that for my security. So if the person moves and they're deciding this person isn't showing up for me, I'm going to go. Now the fearful avoidant can feel their fear of intimacy. They feel their fear of not wanting to be alone and that type of thing. They do not want to go back to the loneliness. So when there's a threat to that security, like the loss of a job, being sick or the loss of a relationship, the fearful avoidant notices that their security is threatened. This is where the insecure attachment comes in. They become very fearful, and then here comes the anxiety, depression, maybe addictions, and a lot of host other slew of strategies to cope. Maladaptive strategies, that means strategies that aren't working to cope with this anxiety, depression, or these difficult feelings, because the fearful avoidant really wants to avoid and just keep things at status quo. Here are some healthy coping strategies for the fearful avoidant. First of all, accept that this is your attachment style. So fighting is futile. Whether you accept it or not, it doesn't change it. So if you identify with these behaviors, if you took the questionnaire and you scored to as a fearful avoidant, go ahead and accept that. And know that your emotions are probably not going to be accurate. You may overreact or you may underreact. You may become very fearful when certain feelings come up. You know, you want a relationship. We say we want a relationship, and then we push them away. So accept that whenever your feelings come up, your emotions are not giving you proper feedback. So you might need to get what I call adult supervision. Talk to someone, get support, get a reality check, get perspective, do some perspective taking, have someone else help you with your perspective taking, because your emotions may have you believe something. You feel one thing, just because you feel a certain way doesn't mean it's so. So if you're upset over something, it doesn't mean it's something to be really upset about. So talking it through with someone can help you put it in perspective. Does this really warrant a $20 reaction to a $5 event? Is this a $20 reaction to a $5 event? So talk to someone, get outside of your own head and get outside of your own emotions, to see if you could put whatever it is that you're experiencing or feeling in perspective. It's important, number two, it's important that you have a safe base. You've got to have a secure attachment somewhere in your life. One way to get that is through a sponsor that you trust. It is unfortunate sometimes I hear a person, if they're in some sort of 12-step program or they have someone that they go to for their primary support, I mean a friend or some sort of friend or someone close, maybe a program where there is some sort of sponsor, that they don't trust the person. So you need to have a secure base somewhere. So if not a sponsor, a therapist, somebody, there's got to be someone, and it's best to not be your partner. It needs to not be your partner. Chances are it is not going to be your partner if you're a fearful avoidant and you haven't learned to get your behaviors under control. So you need to have a secure base, and that's your anchor, and that's where you can get some perspective. At least one person. Ideal is you'll have multiple people where you can do some reality testing. Oftentimes a fearful avoidant may not know how to feel, how to respond, how strong the emotion should be, what's warranted. They just don't know. So you will need to have some help to help people with talking you off the ledge, so to speak. Also a benefit for support, for having, if you've been my client for a while, you know I'm huge on having same-sex friendships. Lots of same-sex friendships, at least a few, so that you can have someone reflect back to you. And the reason why I say same sex instead of opposite sex is when there's opposite sex, there is a power differentiator, usually differentiation. So there's usually someone has power, more power, someone has less power. When it's friendships, there's usually an even amount of power. That's the goal. So be sure to have people in your life that can reflect what you said. Sometimes just recalling, this person said that, I said that, they said that, that said that, and then that person just repeating that to you. So you said this and they said that and you said this, can kind of get it out of your head, and it can help you put things more in perspective, and you can kind of hear how it sounds. And I think we all as human beings, we need to hear how we sound sometimes. And that can just, because it's so easy to see things and evaluate things and get, when we're not in the middle of it, it's so easy to give someone else exactly what they need to do than when the fearful avoidant is emotionally charged, they may have trouble with that. Breathe. The fearful avoidant tends to hold their breath. Breathe. Take a minute, breathe, be patient before making any decisions, before taking any actions. It may seem small. If your emotions were pretty strong, get adult supervision. So you can calm down, get grounded, get stable, and have someone in your life, or maybe a couple of people, that will be frank with you, that will be direct with you, that will tell you the truth. So we're not talking about a bunch of yes people. That is not going to help you. All that is doing is continuing to feed the issue, the problem that you're trying to overcome. You're trying to build intimate relationships. So if you're trying to build an intimate relationship, emotional, physical, intellectual, with yourself and with others, then you're going to need people in your life to tell you the truth as well. So learning to set healthy boundaries is another strategy for the fearful avoidant to develop. Learn where the limit is. Come up with a list of boundaries. There are people in your life that may cross the line. There might be people in your life that don't respect you, and you already have said that they don't look at you as important. They don't put you first. The relationship is not reciprocal. Or you're up here and they're down here, and that doesn't work, and you're complaining about that too. So about them not showing up. So it's really important to have healthy boundaries. Get with someone to teach you boundaries, and someone that can hold you accountable for maintaining your boundaries. There has to be a limit as far as what you'll take, what you'll do, and also boundaries within your own self to honor your own values. You have your values. You can have a list of values, and you can have a list of boundaries to help you support your values and be true to who you really are. One boundary is also information. A fearful avoidant might talk too much. They might disclose too much. You may meet someone and it's a really new relationship, and you just tell all about your history, your family problems, your upbringing, abuse, addictions, all types of issues. It's important to have boundaries. So have a dating plan if you're dating. Have some sort of plan for how much you will disclose to people. It just depends on the relationship. If you're this close, you might be able to disclose just about anything that comes to mind. If you're that close, you may only need to disclose certain things. If you're that close, if it's a coworker, you disclose that much. If it's an acquaintance, you disclose that much. There are levels of disclosure. And again, you're going to need help with this because this part of you did not develop. But it is possible that this can become second nature. If you're a fearful avoidant, practice taking a stand. Stand firm. Once you make a decision, oftentimes a fearful avoidant will say, well, I kind of like that. I might want that. It's possible I want that. Be firm. Deep down, you know exactly what you want. You know exactly what you want to do. You know exactly where you want to do, where you want to go, and you know exactly what action you need to take. And you know what you need to say. But we usually don't trust it, so it gets all mixed up with emotions and fear and things like that. So we want you to practice taking a stand, listening to that gut. Listen to that deeper part of you that says you don't want to do that, and don't do it. And it's okay to say, I don't want to do that. This is what I want. Take a deep breath, breathe, get you some support around that. One last thing is to practice a good ending. If you are needing to leave a job, leave a romantic relationship, leave a friendship, leave a, I don't know, area of town, end a contract, leave a lease, or whatever it is, leave some sort of agreement. Try to practice good endings. Fearful avoidance oftentimes create bombs, and then end with some high drama. So sometimes friendships have their course. Some things just it's had its course, and now it's time to go to the next level, the next thing. So a job or whatever it is. So practice good innings. And finally, be yourself. So if you do all these things, you'll get closer and closer and closer to being who you are, knowing who you are, standing in your truth, loving who you are, and reaching your goals. It works. So these are some strategies for the fearful avoidant.